So today I'm going to discuss about auto growth option. So what is auto growth? Let's take a database, properties. Yes, see here. So this is the database initial size. So whenever I'm going to create a new database, I'm giving 8 MB as an initial size. 8 MB for a data file and 8 MB for a log file. This is called initial size. So regardless of the data which is contains inside the database, it will occupy 16 MB of data in a disk where the files are data file in E and the log file in D. So in the E, it occupies 8 MB of data. So we don't know exactly, how much data is, occupied in this database. Let's see. Comes the data file. Only, uh, 3 MB of data is present and remaining 5 MB is free. But still 8 MB of the space occupied in the E drive. Let's see, it is in E drive. See, 56.5 is free. So let me give more, like instead of 8 MB, I'll give more space here. I'm giving 10 GB. So here we can see 56.5 free, right? So whenever I add 10 GB to the database, I can see only 46.5 whenever I refresh it. See 46.7. So whenever I add 10 GB to the database, the space is occupied in the disk regardless of the data. So we don't have the 10 GB of data inside the database. Whenever we, given the initial size as a 10 GB, it occupied in the disk. Okay. So we don't know exactly how much data is inserted in, it's going to be inserted in the database in the future. We don't know, right? Maybe it's going to be a 10 GB or 100 GB. Sometimes it may be, 1 TB. We don't know exactly, right? So we cannot give 100 GB here. We cannot give, 1 TB of space as a initial size because it, immediately occupies in the disks. That may cause to disk space issues. So we cannot give 100 GB. We cannot give, 1000 GB like that. What if you give the less initial size like 8 MB, 10 MB, 20 MB? So whenever it reaches to the maximum size, 10 MB or 20 MB, users cannot insert the data into the database. So that's why we have an option like auto growth. So what is auto growth? So whenever it reaches to the maximum size, what is the maximum size? So this is the maximum size. If I give 8 MB, this is the maximum size. So whenever it reaches to maximum size 8 MB, if we cannot enable the auto growth option, the database will full and we cannot enter any of the data. So that's why there is an option called auto growth. So inside that, there are two options. File growth options like percentage or in megabytes. So after reaching 8 MB, the maximum size, the file growth should be in percentage or a megabytes. If I select percentage, okay, if I select this percentage, it will increase 10% of the 8 MB. What is 10% of 8 MB? 0.8. So whenever it reaches to 8 MB, it will grow to 8.8. So like that, it will auto grow based on the percentage. If we give MB, so you'll see, I'll give 10 MB. So if it reaches to the 8 MB, it will grow like it reaches to 18. Again, 28, 38, 48. Like this, it will grow if I give megabytes. Okay. And the auto growth should be limited or unlimited. That also we have to select. So if we give unlimited, it keep on grows, right? So there is no specific limit for grow. So it will keep on increasing. Maybe it will go to 1 TB, 2 TB, like that. So what is the maximum size of the data file that can grow? That is a 16 TB. That you have to keep in mind. The maximum size of the data file that can grow is 16 TB. So it cannot go beyond 16 TB. Okay. So if we give unlimited, it can grow up to 16 TB. That can cause disk space issues. So that's why I can limit that to like 100 GB. So I can limit that to 100 GB. So I'm giving it in MB. So it's keep on increasing. So whenever it reaches to 100 GB, it will throw an alert. So you have to put this as limited or unlimited. It's based on your client. So based on your, manager decision or something. So like that. Okay. So this is auto growth option. We have two things here: limited or unlimited. Maximum file size should be limited or unlimited. Like you can say. It should be limited or unlimited. In older versions, you can see like restricted growth. You can see in 2005 or something like that. Restricted or unrestricted growth, we can say. Unrestricted growth. Okay. And the file growth is sorry, should be in percent or in megabytes. So better to give the low value as an initial size, and we can enable the auto growth. So we have to select the limited or unlimited. It's based on your client. That is your client decision. You have enough free space available in the disk means you can put unlimited. If you can have less disk space, like we have only 100 GB, 200 GB, then you can put as limited to 100 GB, limited to 200 GB, like that you can say. The recommendation should be based on the type of disk that you're using. If it is, log file disk, the recommendations will be different. If it is data file, the recommendation will be different. So like that. So this is auto growth option. Thank you.